blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. I am blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Like the holy land, round about your table, children are the heritage of God. I am seeking first the kingdom of God, cause I am a preacher. I gotta pray just to make it day. A preacher. I am a preacher. Whether I am black or white, I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Jesus got my heart. I am a preacher. I am blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. I am blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Like the holy land, round about your table, children are the heritage of God. I am seeking first the kingdom of God, cause I am a preacher. I gotta pray just to make it day. A preacher. I am a preacher. Whether I am black or white, I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Jesus got my heart. I am a preacher. I am blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. I am blessed of the Lord. His hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Praying child, godly children we are, never defeated, always winning. We're living in fear of God. Like the holy land, round about your table, children are the heritage of God. I am seeking first the kingdom of God, cause I am a preacher. I gotta pray just I am a preacher. I am a preacher.
Hallelujah, hallelujah,
A preacher.
hallelujah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. God bless you. Welcome, welcome to daily prayer for our children, wherever it is that you are joining us from. As always, I'd like to welcome you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Hope you've had a wonderful day. All is well with you, your family, your business, your job, and all those that the Lord has entrusted into your care. It is another Tuesday, and I am not alone. Some of you, well, everybody would not know that we are having our sister back today. Even me did not know we're having her back today, but we are, and she's in the house and she's waiting very patiently in the background. And because we want to maximize time, please forgive me if I do not acknowledge everybody as I'd like us to jump into it, because like I said, I am still itching very much to ask so many questions. So hopefully at least maybe one or two questions. So please feel free while Sister Falakemi is speaking to put your questions in the chat area by all means. And then when she's done, we can start going through those questions one by one. So without further ado, as always, please, a PCC family welcome to our beloved sister. I'm sure she's had a very long day. And again, she's brought herself graciously to us, and we are so grateful to have her as always. So, this is Sister Falakemi, everybody. Okay, I don't know what is going on with this thing today, but okay, let's try that again. For some reason, let's see. There we are, finally. How are you, Ma? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening,
Excellent,
ma. Can you
fantastic.
hear me?
As always, we're grateful to have you. Thank you.
Grateful. Thank
I know
God.
you're strong. The Lord is your strength,
Amen.
but that doesn't mean we should abuse that strength as well. So I'm going to hand over to you so that we can maximize the time that we have got.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be here once again. Thank you to the whole community, to our hosts, Pastor Funke and her husband. It's been an honor serving, and I hope it's been of use to you. So we're going to finish off with ADHD today, and I just wanted to do a quick recap before we go to our last couple of slides.
Mm,
So when we started, we said that usually we look at ADHD and we see the trouble focusing and we see the fidgeting, whereas underneath that need, underneath that iceberg, is not just fidgeting, is uncontrollable fidgeting. There's hyperfixations, there's mood swings, there's difficulty for in switching from one activity to another. There's choice paralysis. There's uncontrollable distraction, trouble recalling information, trouble regulating emotions. So when we see when we see behaviors with the background of the knowledge we're having now, we can sometimes begin to unpick that something might be going on there. So many times it comes out as, oh, what's that bad behavior? But it might be a poor, a poor sense of regulation, poor executive function skills. The emotional regulation is not well developed. Forgetting, thoughts or words 2 seconds after they've been spoken because the mind is whirring. It could be, problems focusing, inability to focus even when there's no distractions. So all of those things combine together. And difficulty in following conversations. You're talking to them and they just seem to forgot forgotten the last word you said or something. So all of those things are underneath that iceberg of fidgeting and forgetfulness. And there's quite a lot of poor self esteem as well, even though this person appears bright and, bubbly and they appear to be quite active. There's a lot to unpick underneath. So we were looking at how to support the children and adults. A lot of adults are getting diagnosed these days, with ADHD. And at the end of the last session last week, we concluded that a whole lot of, a whole lot of positive parenting, a whole lot of present parenting, a whole lot of parents who are there. All of those all of those parenting strategies will are actually very helpful. They're the ones that will help us with the children that have additional needs. I also said at the very beginning that, you know, if you live in the developed nations like some of us do, your local councils, the government always has programs. There's always associations of, parents and, people who would support learners with. You just need to put it into Google. All sorts of things will come up that are local to you. So the training programs, please attend them. They're very useful. We do them all of the time in our local council. And the parents are always very, appreciative. Parents who get to eventually come and attend those things, they're appreciative because you get to meet other parents who are going through the same thing. And then you get to learn tips and strategies as well, so you're not alone. That the worst thing one can do to you can do to yourself is to just stay by yourself and not reach out and see what's going on out there, what other people are going through. Having that support is important. Right. So that's my quick summary of
That's
things
a
I want
very
us
good
to
summary.
remember.
It's a very good summary.
Yeah.
So we can move on to the
Yes.
slide straight
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Okay, so here we are.
Okay. Right. So we were talking about this. Good evening, everybody. Auntie JJ, pray the word, everybody. I acknowledge you. Thank you for joining us again. Difficult behaviors. This is what we see. This is the obvious part of it. Usually, when you walk past the child or the person, and there's nothing going on, you don't see. He looks all right. She looks all right. Looks like there's no problem. But when the difficult behavior, begin to show, that's when we notice and start thinking, oh, what's going on there? For parents and even for us teachers, for every adult dealing with these children, establish the consequence plan in advance so that when something happens, you know straight away this is the consequence. And like I say, each child is different, each home is different, we all have different values. Determine your consequences. I don't think it's right for us to ask other people to determine what the consequences will be for our children. That's our duty as the parent. What are the consequences you feel are right? And they have to be age appropriate as well. Dealing whichever, what's the age of the child, what's the 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 commensurate consequence. And remember, it's consequence, it's not punishment. When we punish, we are not correcting the behavior. We're simply it's simply punishment. It doesn't tell the child what not to do, or what to do next time, or the best choice to make. It tells them, oh, you shouldn't do this, but it doesn't show them what the next point of action is. So we determine our consequence, not punishment, and we make it commensurate to the age, and we administer them straight away. And like I said last week, don't delay the consequence, because remember, this person is quite forgetful. You don't do it now, 10 minutes down the line, some of them have even forgotten. And they will give you that very surprised, what did I do? Kind of look. And it is genuine, it is sincere. They have forgotten. So as soon as the the misdemeanor is, it should be addressed. Once it's picked up, it should be addressed, consequence applied, move on. And when you apply consequences, um, come back and have a conversation about it. And for some of the children, you might have to like give them some time to calm down before you administer it. If a child is having a meltdown, you can't apply a consequence. You let them calm down and then come back, and especially if they had lashed out or they've hurt someone or they've said things that you shouldn't say,
Mm.
we'll let them calm down and come back to it and say, the consequence for, if some of them, as they have colorful language, that's what I call it. Some of them swear. Mm. So we make sure that they understand that that doesn't happen here. When you do that, this is the consequence you get. 10 minutes off your TV time or no TV time, whatever it is you have agreed. Okay. um when we have consequences, let's not make them, what's the word I'm looking for, let's not make them really like a massive one, like, oh, um for instance, with the teenagers, I'm going to like take your phone away for the next 1 month or something. Don't, it begins to lose its effect if it's not commensurate, if it's over the top. So calmly thinking about, what are the consequences, and applying the
So the
consequences.
consequence needs to be in proportion,
It needs to be in proportion to the misdemeanor. Okay, and it should be used sparingly,
not
not
excessively.
excessively. If at every misdemeanor it's the taking away of the phone, it's like when we were growing up. If your every misdemeanor was a cane, some people got used to the cane and they wouldn't flinch. That was it. Well, we don't do that here anymore. But that was a consequence. They just became, numb to it. So, and that would happen. That's a human thing. It doesn't have any
Effect.
effect anymore. So we use it sparingly. We 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 it depending on the age.
Mm.
As soon as they start getting into the teen years, we need to build on the relationship so that we can talk about things, so that we can talk about it, and they'll still have that consequence. But it's the building on the relationship so we can talk about what's gone wrong, and what's values, where they've gone wrong, and and that's a conversation to be had.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's use the consequences sparingly, and let's administer immediately. Don't leave it too long. Don't say wait till your daddy comes back or wait
Mm.
till your mommy comes back.
Mm.
Okay? Give it in small doses. Make sure that it's proportionate. Okay? You haven't done your dishes. Sorry, we're going shopping. You can't come. You need to sit down and do your homework, or you need to sit down and do your dishes. End of. You haven't cleaned your room. Well, nobody goes out or goes off to their friends if their work hasn't been done. So you've lost that chance today. End of. And
Mm.
once we administer it, it's not a discussion. That's why I used to tell my children,
Yeah.
we're not having a discussion. I'm telling you, and I'm walking away. I'm not, when we start, that back and forth responding,
Mm.
oh,
Mm.
why is your
Mm.
face like that?
Mm.
I'm not sending you work. I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying, this is your consequence. I'm gone. So whether the teenagers, they will roll their eyes, they will,
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
not seen you, as in, it's not important at the moment. So because they want a reaction,
Yes.
and if you're waiting there and allow yourself to be goaded, I'm sorry, it's going to become a power tussle. It's going to become a power tussle. So let's just let's be aware of that.
Mhm.
So, and like I said, remember to reset after the consequence. Talk about it. What do you know what's expected of you, and Are you happy that you've missed out on the things you should have done because you haven't done, your chores and all of that? Talk about it and be consistent. If you say, I'm going to take away your TV time on Friday, don't back down, because children are very good psychologists. They will badger you. Ah, mommy, please, now everybody's going. Ah, I'm the only one that's not going. I'm just like, well, consequence is done, is done, finished.
Mm. Mm.
So don't let them, beat you down and back down from what you've said,
Mm.
because they will keep that record and next time they will try it
Mm.
again. So
Okay.
let's not, yeah. So I call it being firm and fair. I think I've spoken about everything, as used sparingly, in a neutral and calm voice. Shouty, shouty, mommy, like my children used to call me. When,
Really?
when they were younger. Well, we have tried all sorts, but thank God for, yeah.
Wow.
So
Shouty,
yeah,
shouty, mommy.
especially mommies, eh? Let's put that shouting voice in our pocket.
Mm.
I like to do the calm, but everybody tells me, how will you? I said, no, I like to do the calm, quiet voice. And when I call your full name, their first reaction, am I in trouble?
Mm. Mm.
uh As soon as I call the full name, I call it calmly, neutral, like, Tolulope. Be like, mommy, am I in trouble? I said, what do you think? So the calmness, the fact that they haven't been succeeded in pulling you
Mm.
into the drama, it's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. So mommies especially, we need to learn how to do that calm. I think some daddies are good at it.
I
Although
think,
some
well,
some
I
daddies
think
that
by
can be really
default,
shy.
because
Yeah.
they just have nonchalant attitude that they try not to get involved. So I'm not giving them any credit for that.
Ah, ah. Well, if you say so, but
Oh,
um, um,
you are always the one in the firing squad. They stand
how?
behind you.
Yes, yes, yes. We need to, we need to learn those, that calm. At the end of the day, sometimes you end up with a headache, like after stressing yourself. I've just learned not to be stressed. Like,
Mm.
we'll say it quietly, we'll say it calmly, administer the consequence. Even though inside of you, you're like, this child.
Mm.
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 But then just say what you need to say and walk away. And let's avoid repeating ourselves. Like, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Say it once. They have heard you. They have heard. So say it once. Don't belabor the point and just walk away. And if there's no response, you can come back and later and say, I meant what I said, and move on. I think children learn to figure us out,
Mm-hmm.
and they learn to decide whether we're being serious or not,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whether we're going to follow through or not. And it doesn't matter whether the child has a need or doesn't have a need. It's a human thing. Everybody does it. You take advantage of, if you can,
Yes, definitely.
if you can. So no matter the need,
Mm.
you know your child. You know your child. So some children, you are able to give that leeway, thinking, okay, this child is dysregulated. This child is having challenges. Some children, they know that you understand that, okay, I have challenges, and they would play on your intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's natural. So we just need to be aware, and we need to study the situations objectively
Objectively. That's
and
the
make a
key word.
decision.
Okay. We'll try. We going on to the next one?
Yes. Harsh punishments, they're not effective.
Mm.
They only have short-term success. They are disappointed about, the huge chunk of the, I don't know, maybe day that you've taken away, or the huge, the proper, the in improportionate punishment can, can turn out harsh. So let's make sure that we're not using harsh punishments. Um, they increase the emotional reaction. The child gets, they get aggressive. They can get, everything begins to fire up in their brain, and they can shout and they can have a meltdown depending on their age. And what harsh punishment does is it creates a distance between the parent and the child. Children understand consequence.
Mm.
They understand that I've done this, and so as a result of that, this is my consequence. But when we punish, we're doing it out of anger. That's not correction. So it deteriorates quality of our relationship. It teaches the child what not to do, but does not teach them the appropriate behavior.
Mm.
So they've done something, but have we taught them? Have we, if we punish them and don't bring it to their attention that, look, this is what is wrong, and this is how to do it. It's easy to show people what's wrong. The other side of the coin is showing them how to do it. Now it doesn't matter that we might assume, oh, they should know, but they obviously don't know, or it hasn't registered. That's why this is still happening. So we would say, you spoke to auntie rudely. We don't speak to people rudely. We mind our manners,
Mm-hmm.
and you get your consequence. I sometimes you even just ask the child. They'll be able to, like, so. And if you say, "Well, what do you think you've done wrong, or what's gone wrong here?" and they say, "I don't know," I can say, "Okay, so what was your tone of voice like? What was your choice of words?
Mm.
Were they appropriate?" So because sometimes when we tell them, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't help them reflect.
Yeah.
But when we ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me more about this? And then we don't ask why questions because it will get them on the defensive.
Mm.
We ask reflective questions. So tell me more about that tone of voice. Would you like me to speak to you like that? Would you want Auntie to speak to you like that? Or would you want your friend to, whoever it was
Mm-hmm.
that was involved? And then they start, and then if they say, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong," so let's look at the words, and then we can unpick the words and
Mm-hmm.
say, "Okay, right. So is this the right word? Is this the right word? Do we use those sort of words?" And then they now can come to an understanding of, okay, because sometimes words are spoken without thinking. We're still
Of
dealing with
course.
children.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's teaching them, okay, that's not appropriate. We're going to apologize. Or what how do you think we should make it right? Restorative justice. So many times not telling them the answers, but helping them to come to the realization, so they're
Mm.
actually learning that, I should, when I've done things that are not right, I can
Mm.
retrace my steps and um apologize
Mm-hmm.
and make amends. So many times we want to jump in and push them in the right direction. Oh, go and say sorry to auntie, but let them understand why they're saying sorry.
Mm.
Let them make the choice. Now you might have to, like, prod some of them to get to that point where, okay, I need to apologize. So I'm going to go and do that. Yep.
Okay.
So we're correct with and teach them the appropriate behavior and teach them the appropriate choices. So we're going
Next
to
one.
next one. Okay, so we talked about this last time.
Mm-hmm.
Praise, 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 praise. Every human being likes praise.
Of course.
There's no human being on earth that would not, have a smile on their face when you praise them. So lead them with the past successes. Lead them, remind them of how well they've done, especially when they're struggling. Okay, this seems to be, you seem to have a challenge with this maths homework. Remember when you did that one, and how well you did. So praise, and then it strengthens them to try. Okay, make a positive prediction. Oh, I have a feeling you'll be really good at this. If they were already struggling with, making a start, it gives them the confidence to try.
Mm.
Okay, I have a feeling you can do this really well. Prompt. So prompt them, break down the tasks. It can get really overwhelming. I remember saying to you, how I'll cover part of a page because the child will look at the page. I have to write this whole page. I know they will end up writing the page, but I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to cover the bottom and say, oh, write the first 4 lines. Oh, wow, beautiful handwriting. You will write a few more and just push the paper back down. We are the adults, we can, oh, mom, I've swept, I've hoovered, I've done. How about just do the landing, you've done that really well. They will end up doing everything and then they will now feeling very proud. Oh, I hoovered the whole house, but we
Mm.
didn't start out with the whole house. They only wanted to do one room.
That's right.
So the psychology of we
Parenting.
parenting, patience, patience, patience. Whether with neurotypical children or children with needs, we need patience. We
Mm.
need we
Mm.
need we need to be able to breathe before we speak.
That's right.
Take a deep breath before you speak because it can get really challenging.
Very.
So patience, but practice. At the end of the day, they didn't come with a manual.
That's right.
They're all different. So what if we've done something? Practice for me is a lot of reflection,
Mm.
self-reflection. What has gone well, what hasn't gone well, how have we missed it? Because we miss it too as adults. We miss it a lot of times. Being able to reflect and avoid being drawn into that traditional mode of the adult is always right, and try again the next day. And it's not a weakness to apologize to your child, to say, look, I got that wrong. I shouldn't have shouted at you. I was upset. Admitting to what we've done wrong helps them to be confident as well, so that when they've gone wrong, they won't hide it. They will say, oh yes, I got it wrong there.
Mm.
We're modeling it. So it's practice, reflecting on what we've done, because if as professionals we do it, we reflect all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, so why would we not reflect with our parenting? And
Next one.
yes, yes,
Okie dokie.
yes. So patience, practice, prompting, prediction. Okay, so my favorite slide, equality is different from equity. Equity means with everyone's getting the pair of shoes that fits them. Equality means everyone is getting a pair of shoes. So um, one size fits all doesn't work. Whether with children with ADHD or even children who don't have a need, there are adjustments we have to make for individual children. Okay, so we have diversity, we have equity, we have equality, we have acceptance. People being able to wear the kind of shoes that they are comfortable with, and it can play out in different ways. Some children, I think it depends on the children, it depends on the need. It can play out in different ways. We all wear different types of shoes, we all like different types of things. At the end of the day, for me, it's a relationship with the child that matters, that should be preserved. It should be preserved even as we go through the journey of parenting. That's why we shouldn't parent in isolation, because sometimes it gets really difficult and we need to find, support. We need to find a sounding board sometimes. We need to find someone to talk to. Sometimes just talking about it. Like,
Mm.
these children. Oh my God. And at the end of the day, find like-minded people. Find children of God. So you can get godly advice as well. Pray over whatever it is, information you get, and you know ask for the guidance of God to make the right choice for the child. So they are neurodivergent. They might choose not to wear the sort of shoes you expect them to wear, but it doesn't mean there are not certain type of shoes that they like to wear. That's the only way I can explain that. Okay, I think we're done.
Really?
We have famous people with, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know she had it.
Oh, see, we don't see it. We don't
Yeah,
see
it's not
it.
written on
It's not
anybody's
written on
forehead.
anybody's forehead. Everybody
Hmm.
looks like everybody else. That one is a famous swimmer, and she's done really well for herself.
Yes,
But you know that's the interesting thing. They would do well. They
they
would do
excel.
well. They will excel because they're quite brilliant. A lot of times, it's just giving them the support they need to thrive.
Mm.
Giving them support like all children. Just being the parents, supporting them and looking for what's best for them.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. Wow, that's very interesting. Will I am.
But you can see. Well, I can see. I could see, the awkwardness, the saying it as it is.
Yeah,
You can see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
And the interesting thing about ADHD is usually it's co-occurring with ASC.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you would see the traits are like
And there's overlappings.
overlapping, and even with dyslexia as well. A lot of people that have
Yes.
ADHD have dyslexia. And if you look at the symptoms, if you look at the characteristics, they're quite similar. This dyslexic is quite vocal, and they can talk, and when it comes to the reading and the rights, they just don't want to have anything to do with it. But then that's what the ADHD child would do in class. They would do all the talking, and then when it's time for writing, they would either have a meltdown or they would try and avoid it because there's poor self-esteem. They
Oh,
feel they're not good enough and all of that. Yeah. So there's a lot of co-occurrence.
interesting. So
That's it.
we've got to the
So,
question bit.
yes.
Excelente. Brilliant. Fantastic. So, I don't think, let me just look in the chat area before I start diving into every one of my questions or some of my questions because we
Yours
haven't
will
got,
probably bring up everybody else's.
yeah, maybe. So, you, I mean, I think we've said it sometimes in between the other streaming that obviously I think every one of the knowledge that you're bringing to the table for us, there's one common denominator that I think is essential for parents. And you've spoken again extensively about it today. It's more like the way we are parenting, is the quality of parenting.
Absolutely.
If we are to help these children to be the best that they can be, we have to be intentional about our parenting. We have to be available as parents. We have to be hands-on as parents. And we must be willing to be patient that you know, like you were showing us some peace there. Yeah, patience for me, patience, perseverance, endurance, you know, those kind of things you've got to, and you must have a teachable spirit.
Now, yeah, you just hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
We need to reparent ourselves. We need to reparent ourselves. We need to, first of all, step back and analyze critically and without any emotional ties how we were parented. I Hats off to our parents. They did all they could
Mm.
with the knowledge they had.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not mean that we would now take that blueprint and slap it on the next generation. We have to look inwards and look backwards and look at, what are our own personal issues
Mm.
and sort them out,
Mm.
because that's what is going to help us when when things are not going the way we
They
think
ought to.
they ought to go. If we're getting angry, we're getting irritated, what
Mm.
is it that the child is doing that's causing the trigger? What were we not allowed to speak up? Is that why we are annoyed that our child,
Are speaking up.
is speaking up? Why is this so? Sometimes it's not even rudeness. They're just being, they're just expressing themselves. So it's finding that final. I found that the more self-aware, the more emotional, intelligent I became, the easier parenting became for me, because I could, you know, accept that, okay, I haven't done this right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas growing up, I don't know if I ever can remember any adult accepting they were wrong. Whereas
Mm. Mm.
we're bringing up millennials. Oh no, Gen,
Gen
Gen,
Z.
Gen, Gen A, Gen Alpha. They would tell you they're not being rude. That they're not being rude. They're just stating a fact. But
Mm.
it comes across as being rude because we don't want to be called out. So the more we grow and improve ourselves and heal ourselves, the easier it is for us to actually be present and
Mm.
parent
Mm.
from that perspective. So yes, I agree with you. And like we said last time, we didn't a lot of us didn't go to parenting classes, and some of those of us that went before we got married or when we've had our first child. It's like professional development. You continue doing it, you continue
Mm.
learning, because
Mm.
things have changed. When my children were born, I can't compare it to now. Like, look at how the internet has exploded. You need to
Exactly.
go and learn about internet safety. You need to go and learn about what's going on with pornography. You need to go and learn about sexting. There's just too much going on. We can't afford to be ignored. We need to learn the slangs.
It's the like you said, learn and unlearn and learn and
And
relearn.
relearn.
You know, I think in the words of my boss, he's always saying that you've got to empty your cup. You've got to empty your cup. So whatever is in there before, let's empty it and then let's start all over again. So which means the key thing in again is the learning, you know, is letting go of the old. It doesn't mean that all of the old is wrong. We keep the ones that are
Oh
good
yeah,
from, yeah. And
absolutely.
so
We had
we're
fantastic
embracing the
values. Yeah.
past and the future and the present. So we're bringing it all together to the present where we are.
Yes. Yes.
So we're open minded to going forward. We're bringing along something from the past and we're embracing the present. So, in order to be relevant
Yeah.
for the children that we're nurturing right now. And me personally, um, I think it's something I'll just appeal to parents. I can't say it often enough. They've got to take off that, like you said, just slap on. We can't slap on what was given to us. We can't
Can't.
slap,
We can't.
I've reflected and I've said many times, you said it, reflecting. I call it self evaluation. We've got to assess ourselves, we've got to evaluate ourselves. So, what I was given, was it the best? Can it be improved? Was that the only option that was available? Like you said, you know, they did the best that they felt they could. Okay, so the baton is now on to us. So do we just take the baton and just run, or do we find out how we can improve on that which we have been given?
Absolutely.
So I use it as an opportunity to appeal to parents, because I think people don't feel they need to learn anything.
Hmm. That's a dangerous place to be.
Yes. I
Because
think
if
parents
you
don't
did
feel,
that,
I think once many of us have left school, we've left education, we've left learning environment.
but you
That's
wouldn't do
it.
that for work. That there's professional
Ah,
development.
you see that. Thank you for bringing that up. For work, it's okay because it's going to earn me a living.
Hmm.
You see,
Okay.
yeah, because it's going to. They feel there's a monetary incentive. There's a monetary reward at the end of it, and but that which we're investing in our children today, the nurturing, the patience, the attention, the encouragement, the building, you and I know is a long term project, is not an
Absolutely.
immediate. Unlike at
Absolutely.
the end of the month, I know something is going to come into my bank account. Then I can go to Dubai. Then I can go on that holiday. Then you see what I'm saying? So yeah, if I need to do that, I will do that. But as far as me learning to be a parent, okay, what book did my parents read? They just winged it. So why can't I wing it?
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say because
No, but you see, because these are some of the things I'm encountering, because
mm,
especially with all these, like I said, all these instructions that you've given us and these resources, I'm thinking, oh, one, identifying, taking my children to see the necessary
professional.
professional, thank you,
Mm,
whether
mm,
it's a dermatologist, whether it's a pediatrician, do you understand what I'm
mm,
saying?
mm.
Optician, dentistry, all those kind of things. Learning to make myself available to also observe a child that ought to have developed certain things, like you said, the connections that should have been made from the beginning, which uh okay, let me see if I can put this on the screen. Here we are. That's Can you
Mm.
see it?
Yes, there's a lot to learn as a parent. Yeah, it's daily learning. It's daily
Exactly.
reflection. It's
So,
I mean, even as Christians,
mm,
our walk with God,
mhm,
it's a daily walk. Knowing Him
exactly.
as a Father,
Yeah.
we don't know everything about Him. We learn every
Mhm.
day. So why would we think that such a complex being, a human being, we know we just oh it's fine. I think that it's a lie we've that has been I don't know that people have
Pedaled.
believed yeah peddled like what you need to do as a parent is just provide and tell that this one annoys me. You tell the children what to do. Now if you keep telling the children what to do, they're not going to mature, they're not going to develop
Learn.
their creativity, they're not going to
Mm.
you know mature.
Mm.
We can't keep telling them what to do. We have to help them develop initiative by asking questions, by guiding,
Mm. Not providing everything.
not providing all the answers.
Mm.
Like we know, jokingly, we would say in class, if the child says, "Oh, what's the meaning of this?" or "How do you spell this?" I'll tell them I'm not a human dictionary. Meaning, go and bring a dictionary, because if I tell you, you'll forget.
Mm.
But if you go and find out yourself, it becomes your skill to
Mm.
keep.
Mm. Mm.
And because we're busy sometimes, we're in a hurry to get things done. And and we just, no, no, just give me the bread, let me make the sandwich. Let them make it and make a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learn how to tidy up.
Exactly.
Like I always say, when you're bringing up children, some people are really good, they're so finicky, their house is perfect.
Mm.
When you're bringing up children, whoever doesn't like the state of your house because it's not perfect
They're
shouldn't
not
be coming
welcome.
to visit you. End of story. Because children need to learn. It's out
Mm.
of that you would not, okay, you've made this place untidy. Now it's time to tidy it up. Okay, pick up the broom, pick
Mm.
up the hoover. This is how to use it. Those are
Mm.
teaching moments.
Mm. 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 It's true. And like you said, again, that word, um, the time factor, um, to, let me, the time factor of so many things we've got on ground that we need to do.
Hmm.
So you're wasting time. You're taking too long. So, and like you said, how does that child develop that skill if we are the one that is always, it's
Doing it.
interesting. Um, I think a couple of months ago, my boss sent me a video, and the video was actually advocating that we should allow our children to get bored.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That was what the video was saying. He said,
Yes.
in 21st century, um, we have become parents that have choked the life of our children
With too
with so
much
much
activity,
planned
activity,
activities.
and the mind doesn't have
And
time to. Yeah,
exactly
I
that,
agree.
so the mind doesn't develop how to be creative, the
Mm,
mind doesn't develop how
mm,
to entertain itself.
mm.
And apparently that's why we're hearing, I'm bored, I'm
Yeah,
bored,
yeah,
I'm bored,
yeah.
because we have not allowed their brain to think of, okay, so I've got nothing to do now, what should I do? Because we've literally popped them out of the womb, from one activity to another: swimming, karate, piano, judo,
Absolutely.
gymnastic,
Ah,
dancing, whatever.
spot on.
So,
Yeah.
when it was him that sent it to me, and I watched it and I said, whoa, they make a lot of sense, because apparently in that bored state of mind, there kicks in
That kicks in. If you look at little children, like babies, they don't need toys. They really don't need toys. Put a child, give them a box of something, or
anything.
some clothes, whatever.
They
Even
will
if it's your
create.
shoes, you will just realize that they're going to start playing. They'll put the shoes on. They'll put the box on their head.
Mm,
The
mm,
creativity. But when everything is supplied,
mm,
how are those neural pathways going to be created in the brain?
mm,
When there's always something to do. There's always something to do. It,
mm.
it um it's the fear of being by yourself. It's the
Wow.
fear of just being by yourself with
Mm,
your thoughts,
mm.
and a lot of adults have that
They
problem as
do
well.
have it. I agree with you
Being able to sit
100%.
down with your thoughts,
Mm,
like it's just me,
mm.
and that's why we're so activity prone,
Prone
and then we transfer it to the children.
to, exactly. And that's why some people cannot be on their own.
Yeah,
They've always got to be with
with
somebody.
someone.
Because you've not, I call it being comfortable in your skin,
With your skin,
but
by
they've not
yourself.
learned the art of, it's quite okay for me not to talk.
Mm.
It's okay for me to be alone. And like you said, a lot of adult, because now what you find out is um, even some people can't go to the restaurant on their own. They can't go to the cinema on their
Can't go
own.
for a walk alone. Just enjoying your own company. Just having thoughts. Having sifting through your thoughts, thinking things through.
Occupying yourself without actually getting bored. So, yeah. Um, honestly, I don't know. This is how do we help the people that will not come to you? I hope my question is going to make sense. How do we help people that will not reach out for help? How do we communicate to people that are in denial? That I hope you understand what I'm saying. It is I see it like a case of the mountain. Muhammad will not go to the mountain. So how do we bring the mountain to Muhammad? Basically, I know something like we're doing now is one of the means
Yeah.
by bringing the mountain to Muhammad. But basically, how do we get, because one of my one of the ways I feel that we can do it is wherever we congregate together is the perfect forum for us to have those dialogues, to have those conversation that,
Yeah.
you know, is actually okay to have autism. It is not the end of the world. Like you said, look at it. You showed us people that we all know who do have dyslexia, who do have autism, who do have ADHD, and they have gone on to be accomplished people in the world. So we don't have to see it as a stigma. So how do we do that?
That denial part is
Yeah,
a huge one, and it's a cultural
challenge.
stigma, the bias we
Mm,
have culturally. I think things are improving. They're better than they
very
used to
slowly.
be, very slowly. And I think the other thing that makes it more difficult is especially amongst Christians, is that idea of, oh, that probably the
People.
parents is a failure because, oh, they don't have faith, that's why their child is like that. If you can take paracetamol when you have a headache, why would you say that what this doctor is
Mm,
saying, or that I'm not taking the child to a doctor because I don't think there's anything. Schools struggle because our people are told to, this child, especially we can see it in the early years. A child who is slow to speak
mm,
is definitely going to end up with some need. And if you live in England, if you live in the developed nations, and the teacher has said to you, even if you don't, they've said to you, this child is showing some signs, get them. For us in England, if you get the child into speech therapy, that is solid foundation. They don't get lost in the system.
mm,
Because once a speech therapist sees a child and they think they need to refer, that moves further on. But if
mm.
you don't start that when the child is 4 or
Young.
3 or 2,
Mm, mm,
by the time they are 10 and they are kicking off in school, it becomes a major issue.
mm.
It becomes a major issue because some children have gone through speech therapy and all the support, and they've come out on the other end and they're coping. Some will end up without a diagnosis. Some will get a diagnosis and they would cope better. But for goodness sake, for the sake of the child,
Child.
to get the support the child needs, it doesn't make you a bad Christian. It does not mean you have backslidden.
Hmm.
People get high blood pressure, they go on medication. People get diabetes, they go on medication.
Correct.
We don't know because it doesn't show on the face.
Mm,
Hmm? It doesn't show on the face. But then we now decide that because this is stigma, then we don't want anybody to, and then the child now is at a disadvantage.
Hmm.
Some people have the faith to pray through. I don't dispute that. But if the child needs help, please,
Reach out.
please and please reach out. And for me, what I tend to do is, if I find something, that I feel that, like Pastor sent something to you, I will put it on my faith groups. I'll share it. Those who will watch it will watch it.
Exactly.
I will share it amongst my friends. Some will say, "Oh, you're a modern parent. You're a, what a."
Yeah, thank you. I get that a lot. So what does that mean? What does that mean that I'm a modern
I don't know.
cash?
They'll say you have become westernized. You have
Yes.
become. At the end of the day, hmm, if we don't, if we're not aware of what the times are saying, God forbid we lose our children. I met
Amen.
someone today, and it made me sad, and it made me thankful, and I'm praying for that child. I taught that child,
Hmm.
and it's the same age as my son. In fact, when I used to take my son to school then, on training days or stuff like that, and they used to play together. And I met the mom today, and she was like, ah. I said, where's my son? And she was like, ah. Mm. And I said, he's coming back. We will get him back by God's grace. So let us be aware. Let us hold these children close. Hey, the times are tricky. We have to be involved in our children so that they don't wander away because we're slamming the rules down, and we're not listening, and we're not. God will help us.
You know, I my husband always tell me I have the hardest job in the whole world, reaching parents of children. I don't know how many times, and you know something, Sister Falakemi, this is one of the things that every opportunity when we're looking at the Word of God in Saturday Bible School, I always use this as an opportunity to try and instill biblical, godly parenting into the lives of the children that I'm teaching.
Hmm.
I'm always telling them, see God, know God. He's the best parent that you could ever see
Ever,
and learn
ever,
from.
ever.
He is the best. So if you are hoping, praying, longing to be a mom, a dad tomorrow, start learning from God.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Start learning from God. Don't learn from your mom and dad. Don't learn from your culture. Don't learn from Auntie Funke. Learn from God. He is the best parenting mentor that you're ever going to have.
Absolutely.
The Bible says he is slow to anger.
Hmm.
The Bible says he is patient. And the Bible says he guides and he leads. So I'm always using that platform to teach them how to be parents, even now that they haven't
Hmm.
even got to that stage where
Hmm.
parenting is even a question in their mind at all.
True.
And they definitely know the difference. They know in the ability to be able to have a conversation with you about anything and everything, and the people they can't have that kind of conversation with.
They do. They
The
do.
Bible says, come boldly to the throne of grace. So when you come boldly, there's no fear. And you can say whatever it is that is on your mind.
True.
You can do that with God, the whole creator of the whole universe.
Yeah. And I'm glad the children are learning that, because our generation, because of the father model, that earthly father model that we've had. A lot of us, I, I say with a lot
With
of
caution.
us, with caution, with all due respect, a lot of us don't know God.
Mm,
We have a picture in our
that's right.
mind
I say that all the time.
of who we think God
God
is.
is, exactly.
We have a preconceived
Idea or notion.
idea or notion. We have, some, and a lot of it is shrouded in cultural
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
all of those things and doctrinal,
And
everything
things I call secondhand
fused
gospel.
together. Yeah. So it is a journey, and for me, when the Holy Spirit talks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind, what he's saying is allowing the Spirit of God space to get us reborn. To It means that even though we're born again, there's still a lot of dross in the silver that
Mm,
needs to be extracted.
exactly.
The work of sanctification, a lot of things that the church doesn't teach anymore,
Mm, mm.
and it's affecting how we do everything.
Thing.
It's affecting how we do everything. So that's why, when people now do personal development, they're talking about emotional intelligence. Those are Christian principles. Those
Exactly.
those are the things that the Holy Spirit should be doing in us.
Mm, mm. Yeah, 100%. So, Sister Falakemi, um, I like you said, plaster it on. People think we can put band-aid here, plaster there. No,
The cracks will come through.
is not doing it anymore. And like you said, many as a result, we're losing our children. I've said this so many times. You don't have relationship with them, they can't talk with you, they're gonna find other outlets.
Well,
And especially, I heard a very sad case on the radio a few weeks back. A child with autism in special needs school um, got involved in a group of bad company, and based on the things you've been teaching us about how they're wired and the way their brain thinks, they told him to go, in order to initiate him, to go and stab somebody. So
they will do
um,
it.
he went. And the person they asked him to stab is another child with autism that they're friends. And this is how I know, what you're teaching us really resonated with me when I heard this. So when the child that was to be initiated, child A, got to child B said, "Are you going to stab me?" And child A said, "Yes, because they told me to." So he's only following
Mm,
instructions.
just yeah, yeah.
He doesn't see that me stabbing
Mm.
you
It's a
has
problem. Yeah,
consequence
yeah.
or is going to lead to something. And guess what child B said? Child B said, "Okay, do it." And child A did it. So that's a perfect example of what you're telling us, because a
Theory
child
of
that doesn't
minds.
have autism would not be having that kind of conversation to say, "So you're gonna stab me?"
Mm.
And that one is saying yes. I don't see people saying, "I'm gonna stab you."
They're
They will
so
lie.
prone to
And
bullying. Yeah.
children with autism can't lie. Many of
No,
them don't know how to lie.
they
They
don't
just
lie.
say things
They just
the
say,
way it is, unfiltered, like I said the last time. So yeah, this is what they told me to do. This is what I'm going to do.
yeah.
And he ended up doing it. But thank God, well, I don't even know what to say. Thank God, because he now did it a second time and the child died. But the first time the child did not die. but he did do the stabbing. So we need to understand, we need to take time, we need to make ourselves available for these children, whether they have special need or
Oh
they don't have,
not. Yeah.
um, just wanting to learn and wanting to be there and wanting to do. I know it is demanding. Even just being a parent alone is demanding.
Yeah.
But having a child that needs more attention
It's
is
even more
equally,
demanding.
yes.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's where we're not patient enough to want to learn what we need to do or ought to do in order to help them become the person that they could possibly be.
And I must say that, parents who have children with special needs, their job is doubly, it's a double whammy, it's double
It is.
difficult. And especially when it comes to like the teenage years, like
Mm,
we get at work, we just get calls and calls. Oh, this child is the secondary school children. It's really hard. So we mustn't do it in isolation. We must make sure that we are part of groups. There are plenty of groups out there where you can get support, where you can, ask questions and just make sure that, you are not doing it. Please don't do it alone. I beg you. It's not easy to be a parent, and it's more difficult to be a parent of a child with special needs.
mm,
And we're talking about the ones that are not that they're profound needs
mm,
that can be overwhelming. So making sure you have support, and we who are family and friends,
mm,
learning as much as we can so we can support our friends and not be the ones that are their judge.
mm.
Because I know people who
Judgmental.
have stopped taking their children to church
Wow.
because of how we
Pointing
do.
fingers,
We point
staring.
fingers, because we stare, because we keep telling the children off. Oh, you can't greet. It's not hard to greet. Your relationship with the child matters before you can say those kind of things.
Mm, mm,
And for children who have special needs, in fact, somebody told me that the daughter said to her, "That's your friend. The next time she speaks to me like that,"
mm,
and she was like, because of course this is, you're speaking to a girl with ADHD. They're
mm,
even more difficult than boys.
mm, mm.
So it's been, like we said, it doesn't show on the face. It's been aware. Just greet them nicely and go your way, unless you actually have a relationship with the
With
child,
them.
and support the parents. Support them. Sometimes it's just somebody to go and do their shopping, because
Mm.
they know that if I take this child out,
Yes.
I won't get anything done. It's asking them, I'm going to
How can I
Costco.
help?
How can I help you? I'm going to Costco. Do you want anything? Imagine taking a child that has
Mm,
ADHD or ASD
mm,
to
mm.
Costco, if the
Honestly,
parents don't have support. So let's be the support,
compassion.
yeah, that these parents need.
Our brother's keepers.
Mm.
We have a friend and they have a son. In fact, he's the only child they have, and both of them immediately they knew they just devoted their life to looking after him.
Mm.
And he's got a fantastic dad. He has a fantastic dad. And I'll tell you this in closing. And that's why, I'm so glad that we have you to give us this wealth of knowledge. There was a day they were walking, dad and son, they were walking. I think he's just picked him up from the special school that he attends, and they were walking home. And there was a dog on the other side of the road. And this young boy saw the dog and he wanted to go to the dog. Guess what he did?
Dashed across the road.
He just dashed across the road, and there were vehicles coming.
Mm.
Do you know what his father did? His father ran to the middle of the road and lay down in front of the car to stop that car hitting his son.
Mm.
Because the son had already
God.
gone.
Mm. That impulsive. It's just.
And calling him or shout, it wasn't going to do anything. He saw the dog. He wants to go over to the dog, and he
It's
just
God.
crossed the road. He ran and just lay down on the road in front of that car. I don't know whether people understand the gravity of what you're teaching us and what you're bringing to the table. And, I just, that might shock some people, and, they might not be able to handle that experience that I just shared with them. But that's to show you the gravity of what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
There's a parents. Honestly, parents. I celebrate everybody, every parent that's bringing up children with special needs, and they need our support.
They do. They do.
They need our
So
support.
that's not the moment to point fingers. That's not the moment to stare. That's not the moment to. That's actually a moment where your brotherly, sisterly love should actually kick in
And not judgment.
and not judge anybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Judge. This one.
Sister Folakemi, I want to say thank you.
You're
Because
welcome.
I know this is Merry Christmas to me and you.
Yes. Merry
Thank you
Christmas.
for 2022 for being part of this journey with us. I don't know what's in store for 2023. I'm not one of those people. I leave God just to lead, and I follow by the grace of God. Um, I don't. I'm just not that kind of person with God. My life is in His hands. He leads, and I just follow. So, if somebody told me in 2022 I'll be speaking to you, or we would have done what we have done this year, I would have said, I don't know. No, it would have been a no, to be honest with you. It would have been a no, because I'm sure I wasn't on your radar, and you definitely was not in my radar. But that day I was just on Instagram doing the things that I normally do. And, I saw you and I said, I can't even put a face to this person. I said, but I can see what it is that they say they do. And that was it. And that was it. And here we are. We've had this privilege and the honor to have all this knowledge brought to the comfort zone of our own domain. And I want to say thank you on behalf of all the PCC family. Um,
Thank you.
uh, yes, look at what my auntie
Oh,
said. I'm
thank
going
you,
to put it on the
Auntie.
screen. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Honestly, I really don't know how to say thank
Thank
you,
you, ma.
because
Well, I
she.
should be saying thank you.
I
I
don't know
should be
why
saying
you are
thank you
saying
because
thank you, but
honestly, I'll be honest with you. I've just put special needs on the back burner for a long time. I wasn't doing anything. It was after we started that, and I had left work full time. That I decided, okay, maybe I should do special needs. It just kept coming back to me actually since I started talking to you.
mm,
All the jobs I applied for, it was just the special needs ones that came were coming through. So for me, it was a date with destiny. It was God, orchestrating the callback, and I kind of learnt those things, used them, not used them anymore, just left
wow,
it there.
wow.
So I am saying thank you for
Well,
reminding me
well, God will
of.
always use
Mm,
somebody. And if
mm,
somebody refuses to be used, he says, even the rocks, I can get them to do what?
mm.
So I'm glad that we can all be vessels in his hands. And I
Yes.
pray that he will continue to utilize each and every one of us for
Amen.
his
Amen.
glory and
Amen.
for the expansion of the kingdom in the
Amen.
mighty name of Jesus. So,
Amen.
like my aunt said, she says, this is what people are paying a lot of money for. And I know that. And I just hope that people really appreciate what it is that you are bringing to the table for us. And
Oh
so,
God.
on behalf of everybody, I'm saying thank you. Thank you for 2022. Thank you for the journey. Thank you for the laughter, the fellowship.
Thank you. It's been fun. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.
I look forward to 2023, whatever it is that God
Yes.
has in store for us, if He tarries and if He
Yes.
gives us the privilege and the honor to see 2023. I'm trusting that greater and mighty things we can still do together in this area. You know, as we're talking, I'm thinking parenting, like you said, raising teens, thriving teens, and confident teens. How to instill. I know I've tried to do some in the past on instilling confidence in our children because they need it. But I think sometimes I'm asking people to give things they don't have, which is
True.
very difficult. It's
It
very
is. It
challenging
is. It
to
is.
ask somebody to give something they don't even have. Um, so, but like I said, I'm here, you're here,
Yes.
and if the Lord permits, I'd love for us to go further in this journey in
Oh yes.
2023
By God's
by the
grace.
grace of God. So,
Yes.
from all of us to all of you and all your family members, thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
You wear garments, many garments. I don't know whether everybody can see your name on the screen, um, but thank God we put Pastor Falakemi Ikuyiminu, because many of you don't know that she wears the garment of a pastor. So maybe that's how we're going to start 2023. Who knows? We'll
Eh,
ask Pastor Falakemi to come and to minister to us from a different perspective altogether by the grace of God. So thank you to you, your ministry, your family. We really, really appreciate you. The
you're
call of God
welcome, ma.
upon your life, your gentleness, and the passion with which you do that, which you're doing as well. We're saying thank you. Really appreciate you.
Praise
So
God. God bless you,
you're
PCC
welcome, ma.
family. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. Have a fantastic Christmas, everybody.
Yes, so my bed will be saying hallelujah. That's all I
Ah.
look when my holidays. That's what my holidays is all about.
Oh yes, that's
The,
what's that's a holiday. It's
that's my
Resta.
holiday. When people say they go on holiday and they're hopping from one side to another and running, that's not
That's
me.
excursion.
Oh,
That's not
okay. I
holiday.
don't go on excursions. I go on holidays. So
Ah,
thank you very
yeah,
much.
God bless you, ma.
You too, ma. Enjoy the
Greetings to
rest of your
Pastor.
evening.
You
God
too.
bless you. Bye.
Amen. Bye.
Everybody, that was, like I said, our sister, our pastor, Pastor Folakemi Adedeji Ikuyiminu. Thank you, Auntie Cecilia. Thank you, Sister Titi. Thank you to everybody that is there that is not talking as well. And there's people that will watch later. Um, like I said, silver and gold we do not have, but such as we have, if there is in any way, shape, or form that we can be a blessing to Sister Folakemi and you want to be a part, please let me know. Uh, like Auntie Cecilia said, what she's bringing, many people are paying some serious money for those things, and now we've got it on archive, we've got it on playlist, we've got it everywhere, so we can revisit, we can share it with friends and families as well by the grace of God. So everybody, I want to say thank you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So as always, I want to leave you in the most capable hands, as always, of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I don't know what is happening there, but there's some miracle and some magic that is happening there. So until I see you again, everybody, have a wonderful day, morning, or night, wherever you are. Take care, everybody. God bless you.
I am blessed of the Lord, his hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me they shall never prosper. I am blessed of the Lord, his hand is mighty upon me, and no weapon fashioned against me, they shall never prosper. Praying child, godly children, we are never defeated, always winning, believing in fear of God. Praying child, godly children, we are never defeated, always winning, believing in fear of God. Like the holy land, round about your table, children are the heritage of God. I am seeking first the kingdom of God, cause I am a preacher. I gotta pray just to make I am a preacher. I am a preacher. Whether I am black or white, I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Yes, I have to pray. I am a preacher. Jesus got my